Okay, welcome back. Barry's Allotment, Season 2, Season 2022. It's the middle of April. It's actually beginning of the Easter bank holiday weekend, and I haven't done a lot. Well, no, I haven't done anything on the plot yet this year, except pay the bills and buy some seed potatoes. But spring has finally sprung. Each year we usually get a full start on spring, which happened again this year. We go from winter to early summer and then back again. But it's warming up, the grass is growing. So I'm going to start off with plot inspection, plot tour, and then we've got a lot of jobs to get done this year. Check out this fox. There's quite a lot of them around here and they're super inquisitive. You'll quite often find them just sat watching what we're doing. They never get too close to people, and if you try and go near them they run off. But you have to be quite careful with your possessions. If you leave a bag or shoes at one end of the plot while you're at the other, they'll grab it and run just to play with them. I quite often find shoes and gloves and clothing on the plot, which I'm presuming they've grabbed from someone else's plot or the neighbouring gardens, and they bring them over here to play with. They also have a habit of digging up and playing with whatever shrubs and plants you've just planted. Okay, enough playing with the foxes. Let's get on with the plot tour. Starting at the front here, quickly walk to the river at the back and then take a closer look at things on the way back through. So here at the front, lavender, it's been consumed by grass. The grass needs cutting, that's the next job. Globe artichokes looking good. They've made it through winter. Little pear tree there. Quince tree looks good. These are blueberry bushes that I planted last season. There's 5 in a row. Hoping they'll put on a lot of timber this year. Last year wasn't a good year for the quince tree, but it looks like it's loving the weather so far this year. Rosemary, first of 3 apple trees, greengage tree, fig tree, some sage. In this plot here I had Jerusalem artichokes last year, second of the apple trees, and the apple tree at the back is a Bramley apple tree. This area at the back had brambles, hence the plastic sheeting, which can probably come up now. And a duck in the river. All we need is a rifle and a dog, and that'd be dinner. Off it goes. So yeah, this year I want to get the plastic sheeting up. Hopefully the brambles have diminished considerably. We can let that go to grass. Planted some lavender cuttings last year. They're doing okay. We can transplant them to the front this year. The Bramley apple tree is looking good. It's not a baby. It's a child. It couldn't support a full crop of apples yet. It needs to be at least double the size. So hopefully this and the other 2 apple trees will put on a lot of timber this year and increase considerably in size. None of them can grow, let alone support full-size apples last year. They just fall off at the moment. But looking good so far. Here last year I had Jerusalem artichokes and they're still in there. So they're seeds hopefully this year. Hopefully we'll get a good crop this year. Sage. The grass needs weeding out of that and mulching. And this here on the left is a greengage tree which I was gifted, and I put it here to replace what was a dead fig tree. And as soon as I put that in the ground, the fig tree made a miraculous recovery. But it seems to have done the same trick this year. It grows buds, the frost comes and it dies. And some years it makes a comeback, some years it doesn't. In here we've got horseradish. I think that's weeds, not horseradish yet. It's too early. Yeah, we'll get some horseradish this year. This apple tree was stuck in customs. It came with the other 2 apple trees, but it got held up for about a week longer. And it's never been happy. I've looked up diseases, and it's definitely got something, but it's not anything that you can put your finger on. But I think this year I'm going to spray it. Maybe it's just doing a good job of fighting the fight of whatever it's got. But yeah, I mean, it looks okay right now, but it struggles. I also need to cut back this rosemary. It looks like it's been blown over it's lost some branches this winter. It's too big anyway. I mean, a restaurant couldn't use that much rosemary. But the bees are loving it. It flowers quite early, so the bees are all over it right now. Maybe when the lavender here starts to flower, I'll chop back the rosemary and the bees can jump from the rosemary to the lavender. This is the first of the... This was a mistake that the company sent me, a rogue blueberry bush, but apparently that one gets bigger than all the rest, so it's separate. And there's 5 blueberry bushes here in the grass somewhere. They're hopefully going to grow into a blueberry hedge, but you can barely make them out in the long grass right now. So hopefully they'll put on a lot more timber this season as well. I think we're a good few years off a crop of blueberries though. But at least they've all survived, appear to have survived winter. We've got pink blueberries and blue blueberries, believe it or not. And the quince tree's looking good this year. Last year was a terrible year for quinces. I think I'm not even sure if any of them would have been edible, let alone enough to make membranillo. So hopefully the weather will be kind to the quince tree this year. And again, I think that's full size, but it might put on a bit more timber this year. The globe artichokes, looking good. They need weeding, mulching. There was one here, which seems to have disappeared this winter. Maybe the roots are still there. Maybe it'll make a comeback. We'll see. And baby pear tree. I think this one, from memory, planted it the year before last, and it was a 4-year-old tree at the time, so it's probably 5 or 6, probably 7 years old at the most. And this was a pear tree. It was a seedling from the pathway, so I moved it. We'll see what happens with that. And yeah, the lavender here you can barely make out in the grass. I think this year I'm going to put cardboard around it and mulch it, and hopefully that will stop the grass eating it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this plot tour, first plot tour of the season, plot inspection. And the next task is cutting the grass, the strimmer, but that's a whole nother video. So, I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.